Hello everyone! Welcome to this game! So, Tiny Toon Adventures was a cartoon from the early 90s that starred a bunch of up-and-coming cartoon characters learning to be like the Looney Tunes megastars like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. And also, Konami adapted the cartoon into a series of video games, and they actually did a pretty decent job at it. This is one of those games. Babs is dreaming about becoming an actress. She is also wearing a straitjacket, it looks like. She is daydreaming that she has great courage, intelligence, and power. Yes, I am dreaming about... The Triforce, Stripeback says. Huh, didn't think about that. Becoming a star. Even though I have natural acting talent, not to toot my own horn, I still should study acting. Good for you. So let's study acting and get into the theater as soon as possible. Hey, did you hear what Babs said? Yes, I did. She'll make a great actress, but if she travels by herself, we don't know what she'll do. Maybe we should follow her and make sure she doesn't get into trouble. Hey, now that I think about it, I'm hungry. You know, the funny thing is, these characters were talking like I do sometimes. Alright, let's get this started, and I'll kind of explain things as we go along here. Okay, let's begin. To be a good actress, you need two things: talent and luck. And lots of luck. But even these aren't enough when someone puts a mountain in your path. Luckily, I have friends like Dizzy Devil to help me out. So, let's get to it. Indeed. Looking forward to this game. Not one of the best Tiny Toon Adventures games, but still a decent one. So, we got ourselves a 2D platformer here, of course. We got these item blocks that you jump on top of instead of jumping under them. Kind of weird, that. And, of course, being a platformer, we got all these collectibles and enemies to stomp on. Now, some of these collectibles, namely the vegetables, are projectile items. We use these to do that. Now, the neat thing about this game is... Don't miss. The neat thing about this game is... We got 3 playable characters, and we are able to switch to any one of them at any time we want. So, for example, in the situations like ahead, we want Buster Bunny because his projectile shoots upward like that. Meanwhile, we got Plucky Duck, who has pineapples, which will allow him to strike enemies that are not on screen because we reached the end of the first map. So we'll go ahead and go on to the second map. Actually, it'll be definitely useful in the upcoming rooms, so I'll just demonstrate in there. Basically, we got warp pipes. Tree stumps, but Mario warp pipes. And that there is Plucky's weapon. Pineapple bounces downward and off objects like that. Pretty dang handy. And lastly, we have Hampton J. Pig. Hampton has watermelons. Basically like a bowling ball. So, the fact that you can switch between each of these characters is definitely pretty cool. on the fly even. You don't have to like go to any sort of special box to switch characters. You can just pause the game, change who you want to play as. So that's definitely pretty neat, especially given that they are useful in different situations. Now, as far as controls go, there's really no difference between them. It's all about the projectiles. And also, if you wanted to, say, play as a duck instead of a rabbit, or hey, you can play as a pig. How many games let you play as a pig? Not very many. Now, I'm just going to waltz down to this tree stump that I passed up, because in here is going to be a mini-game hosted by Little Sneezer. This is a character from the TV show. He was basically a mouse with really big sneezes. So if you've ever played like Final Fantasy VI and encountered an enemy that used sneeze to blow your team off the battlefield, yeah, he basically has that power. Anyway, we got ourselves a minigame here, Montana Max. Costs gems to use. The rules, nah, I know what to do. It's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, thwack all the enemies. It's a whack-a-mole game. Or whack-a-rat game. And don't worry, Maddie, these rats kinda deserve it. Let's see, what is this rat's name? Roderick or something? Yeah, he's kind of a jerk in the cartoon. In fact, there's only one of them in the cartoon. Don't know why there's so many now. But he is basically the Goomba of the Tiny Toon Adventures games. I think if I had done better, I might have gotten a 1-up. Regardless, that's good enough for now. I hit the wrong thing. I was thinking, no, I don't want to play again. Well, I guess we're doing this one more time. By the way, in case it's not clear, this is a Game Boy game, and I am playing it on the Super Game Boy, which allows you to play Game Boy games in color. But not very much color. I would play it in black and white, but I honestly really love the Game Boy, or the Super Game Boy. It is really cool, my favorite accessory of all time. It's kind of neat to play these games that would normally be black and white with some amount of color. Even if it's still 4 colors, I like it better than grayscale. Now down here we have Dizzy Devil. Grr. Me dizzy and me know where to find pretty bunny. Grr. Me spin through mountain. Dizzy love rocks. Grr. Uh-oh, you need Dizzy help. So in each level of this game, we're going to have to find one of the supporting characters from the cartoon to get us through certain obstacles. They're not really playable, you basically just access a cutscene. But it's still pretty neat that they're being included in some way. By the way, Dizzy here, in case it's not obvious, is basically... oh, how do I want to word this? Counterpart? Yes. The younger counterpart to Taz the Tasmanian Devil. And he is probably one of the most adorable characters from the cartoon. Super duper huggable. In fact, I wouldn't mind being one of those girls from that one episode who was snuggling with him. Dizzy hungry! Bye-bye! Grr. And now we have arrived at Acme University. This is basically the school that all of our characters go to. I should probably tell you about who these characters actually are. Well, first things first, we got Buster Bunny, who along with Babs Bunny was the primary star of the show, both of them basically being young counterparts to Bugs Bunny, but each with their own little personality. Like, Buster Bunny, for example, had this bit of a cool factor that would eventually pervade cartoon characters of the 90s. Not very much of it, but a little of it. While Babs is the comedian of the group. Impressionist, star, basically wants to be a star, as is the case with the game. I'm gonna give you a warning as we go down this log here. Down here is a flashing room, so if you are sensitive to really flashy stuff, feel free to cover your eyes and close your eyes. I'll let you know once we're done out of here. I have no idea what is going on with this room. I get that we're in a dark room, but to have it flashing? If we were playing this on an actual Game Boy, it would create this sort of mid-gray color, like a transparent gray color, but it's totally unnecessary. Alright, we're out of that room. Also, I wound up getting a 1-up while attacking one of those birds. You get a 1-up after so many lives. I'll grab those in a bit. First, gonna go through here, and also bring up the next character of the group, Plucky Duck. Plucky is a duck. Basically the younger counterpart of Daffy Duck. And like Daffy, he has this kind of a superiority complex. He wants to be the star. There's also a little bit of greed in him. However, being a kid, he also has the goofy aspect that Daffy used to have in his older cartoons. He likes stuff like video games and superheroes and stuff. Oh, another minigame. Do you want to race? Yes. Would you like the rules? No. So this one here is a button mashing game. Basically, I have to rapidly press A and B in the hopes that I win. We got 3 difficulty settings here. The easiest one is Bookworm here, so we'll go with Bookworm. Bookworm, of course, is a character from the show. I don't really remember much about him. I can only think of one episode that he was appearing in, and he was basically the protagonist against a bird known as Sweetie. In fact, Sweetie was one of the... yeah, that one there. Sweetie is a character who was trying to eat Bookworm. Higher difficulty, of course, has better rewards. I'll go on to the higher difficulty as we go on through this adventure. For now, yes, I will quit. And we will introduce our third and final playable character, Hampton J. Pig. Unlike Buster and Plucky, Hampton is probably the least like his Looney Tunes counterpart. I mean, they're both pigs, so there's that. But aside from that, Hampton is basically a hog, likes food a lot, of course, and also is a clean freak. Alright, there were some gems over here that I missed. I'm gonna grab them while I'm thinking about it. Stripeback is asking what the J stands for. You know? I have no idea. Also, the rat's name is Roderick. So I can't remember if that's the name I guessed, but that is definitely the name that it is. Meanwhile, we have this thing coming up. That is not the thing I was thinking of. I forgot you were there. And I meant to turn around before throwing that. We have that thing. For the longest time, I was not really sure what that thing is supposed to be. Apparently you can stomp on the projectile. Okay, you know what? Before I die, let's go ahead and kill you. For a long time I thought that was supposed to be like a slug or something, but I just looked it up online today. That is an evil cake that spits cherries at you. Would have never guessed. Grr, dizzy, very hungry. Maybe a nice person help me find yummy snacks. Me have idea. You help Dizzy. Grr. Drop food in Dizzy mouth. Party! And we basically have our first boss fight here. Not much of a fight. Basically, we're dropping this food in his mouth like so. However, you really want to avoid jumping on those spiked nuts. And as you just saw, there is a bit of a wait whenever he swallows something. If I can time it, I can get him to eat 2 things in a row. Also, you just saw me attempt to toss a carrot in his mouth. That is another way to feed him. I don't know how many times you have to feed him. There's a double. Can we get a triple? Nope. And there we go. Boss fight over. Grr. Food make dizzy, tired. Me go to sleep now. If I had to guess, you get an extra life every 15,000 points. I think that is a safe assumption. Phew, all this studying is too much for me. Time to take a break from the books. Let's go to the city. Who knows, maybe we'll learn about acting there. And if we get lost in the alleys, we can always call on Furball. Come on! By the way, this song that is playing here is the Tiny Toons theme song. And yes, it is overused in this game. A little. Then we come in here and we finally get a different song. Enjoy it while you can, because it's not going to last very long. So this level here is definitely a level where using your projectiles is a good idea, because of all these enemies sitting above you. Rather take them out like that, rather than risk jumping on them and taking a hit. By the way, you'll notice that I've collected over 100 gems, and that apparently did not count as an extra life. Well, not only are these basically used as a currency, I'll go down that pipe in a bit, but also there is a challenge in this game to reach the end with 500 gems. Now, what makes this a real challenge is that if you lose a life, the game takes away half of your gems. So I would like to try to avoid losing any lives during this adventure if I can help it. Oh, come on, let's not miss this. We only have so much time in the day. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, I ended the last level with a maximum of 3 hearts. That's because I found a heart container that temporarily increased my max health. However, as soon as you die or leave a level, or go on to the next level that is, it goes back down to 2 hearts. I think you can actually get a reward of an extra hit point in these as well. No, let's not hear the rules. Let's move on to Sweetie. Oh boy. Definitely a little bit faster, but not too difficult. Incidentally, I heard that Buster Bunny is actually faster than the other 2 characters for this, which makes sense, he's a rabbit, but I don't know if that's actually true. Oh hey, you only have to beat Sweetie for an extra life. That's nice. Oh, that reminds me, this game has limited continues. I believe you only get 2 of them, and then after that you have to start the entire game over if you game over again. The weird thing is, in the Japanese version of this game, you have unlimited continues. You also have a password system in the Japanese game, whereas this version, the American version, you have to beat in one sitting. Kinda weird that. I guess I can kind of see that being a cake. If those are candles on top of its head. I always thought that was like hair or something, but maybe that's icing. You know, it probably was made clear inside the instruction book for this game, which in this case I have not looked up. Alright, how many of these can I grab right now? Almost all of them. That just brings me back in there. Enemies do not respawn, by the way, unless you die, so that's kind of nice. Okay, Hampton, you are definitely useful for this particular spot. I don't really trust myself for the landing. Alright, and that'll bring me back down below where I started, so now I'll go ahead and go through here. By the way, in case it's not obvious, movement in this game is kinda sluggish. And the jumping, of course, is really floaty. It definitely takes a bit of getting used to, but once you do, it's actually not bad. Oh yeah, and you can change directions at this if you needed to. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that song because we're back to the theme song. Watch out as we go through here, because those guys, they are invincible. Those guys are not, but I think it's easier to just wait for them to go by. Meanwhile, we got that pipe up there, which we need to coax one of these guys. And there we go. And I believe the next extra hit point is right there. Yep, that would be it. Avoid these flames and head up here. And we have encountered Furball. This is Furball. Babs went to the train station. If you play hide and seek with him, he'll help you on your way to the train station. Find which trash can he's in. Jump onto the garbage can that you think he's in, and press any button. It's a lie. Pressing select doesn't work. Will you play with him? Kinda have to if you want to make it through this level. Let's play 3 times. In other words, it's best 2 out of 3. So you kinda have to guess his trajectory, which in this case is very easy to guess because he is not going very far through the air. You win! Let him help you when you reach the low pipes. So, Furball is a unique character in the cartoon. He is a down-in-his-luck stray alley cat. He doesn't really have a proper home or anything like the other characters do. In fact, he doesn't have a speaking role at all. He is kind of a sad character to watch, but a character that you want to root for. He is that sort of character. Ow. That sucked. You know what? I'm gonna be keeping an eye out for you whenever I come back from grabbing these 2 items. There you are. As for our primary cast, I didn't really explain this properly, but they go to a school called Acme University, where they learn how to be proper cartoon characters. Apparently, though, they all failed, considering we have not seen these characters since the 90s. Which is a real shame, because these are some fun characters, I tell ya. As for Roderick Rat, who we've been dealing with here and there, he comes from a rival school called Perfecto Prep. Like I said, he's kind of a jerk. Alright, ready to move on. This is a fun game to explore, by the way. A lot of diverging paths. It's also a good game for speedrunning, considering you could just go straight forward and ignore most of the optional stuff. Anyway, he can go through the secret street. This is not really a street. Once again, not really playable, but nice to see these side characters play an important part in this journey. And we're coming up on a point that I really like. Furball is going home to rest. I am on a train! Gotta love a train level. Alright, so there's two segments to this train level. There's the rooftop, and then there's inside. Preferable to go inside every chance you get. There's nothing of interest on the rooftop aside from some enemies. Whereas down here it is mostly safe. I think this is a really nice touch, by the way, how we can see the background like that as the train bounces along the tracks. Somewhere there's going to be another mini-game I can get into. We've already seen both kinds of mini-games, by the way. Oh, fake item block, by the way. Basically, the race and the wacka evil rat. Let's go ahead and just do this. Actually, no. Going forward, I want Buster. Because there's going to be some enemies that leap up in the air. There you are. I think that's a neat touch. Matty Ratty is asking about how I jumped onto a train from where I was. Basically, right at the end where Furball left us, the train track was right down below. You could see, like, I'm not really sure what that was hanging over it, but it was something hanging over the train tracks. Extra health. Those are few and far between. Kind of think of it, I think that's something else you can win from the mini games if you really needed it. Alright, back to Montana Mash. Actually, no, let's exit this. Because I've already done it as Hampton, and I kind of want to show off the different sprites for the characters that you can do for this particular thing. Nope, I did not want the rolls. Although it did, at the very least, remind me that your goal is to get 150 points. Pretty easy to do. It occurs to me that each level is definitely taking a while. We're getting close to the boss of this level, but I might want to consider an episode break. 360, that is a good score. What do I get for that? 2 lives. Nice. I'll just go ahead and keep going to the boss before we go on to the break. Because the end of the level is right up here. I think I can go ahead and just ignore you. I have no idea what kind of train can stop on a dime. Oh, another wimpy student. All the Toons in this town know I'm tough. I'll give you a test of strength, and if you succeed, I'll let you go. Even a small rabbit passed the test. Ready to try? Alright, boss time. This is Arnold the Pitbull. He is basically an Arnold Schwarzenegger wannabe. I can't remember what episodes he appeared in the cartoon. I know there was one in which he owned a gym, but he has had other appearances in the show. Obviously, the goal of this fight is not to get hit first off. But also wait for him to start flexing, because that is when he lets his guard down. And that takes care of that. I used to have so much trouble with that fight when I was little for some reason. He's actually pretty easy. Wow, you are stronger than I thought. Go ahead. Alright, that is the second level out of the way, and with that out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and head into our first episode break of today's stream. We will be right back.